Hey everyone, it's time for my late, out of date review of the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies, Homecoming, and Far From Home. Homecoming, Far From Home. This was at the time. It took forever for me to upload them to YouTube, but this right here is the introduction. This was the introduction and setup to Spider-Man to lead right into No Way Home. It took forever for me to finish recording and uploading them, but this is what this is. This is what this is. This is the This is the trailer introduction video to that video right here. You know my new style on this channel. Since this channel is as popular as it's ever been, and I've done every single type of review and rant. This will be a lead into various videos on other channels from now on. That this channel, there'll still be, I guess there'll be some videos on this channel, but since I've done every type of video on this channel, that's what I'm doing from now on. So yeah, and that's what this is right here. So that's what this is right here, the Tom Holland series. I never got around to talking about the Tom Holland Spider-Man series because words couldn't describe how awesome they were. Yes, you don't know how excited I was when in 2015, man, I wish I can go back to 2014 and 15. Much happier times. I wish I could go back to those time periods. Those were much happier times, especially 15 when it was announced, oh man, that the Amazing Spider-Man film franchise was no more, and that Spider-Man would be rebooted. Spider-Man would be rebooted into Marvel. Then we got to see Tom Holland's first appearance in Captain America Civil War, which was nothing short of awesome. Just a couple of scenes, just two scenes of Spider-Man in that movie were better than two big budget blockbusters in the Amazing Spider-Mans, were better than the two big blockbuster Amazing Spider-Man movies. Just two films. Then finally 2017 hit Homecoming, one of the best movies of that year. That Spider-Man movie was nothing short of awesome. It succeeded at everything. The Amazing Spider-Man films failed at. Amazing Spider-Man films, in my opinion, failed to do. Yeah, this didn't follow the comic books either. Which I addressed the haters of these movies during the narration and webcam reviews. I addressed the haters. This didn't follow the comic books either, but this film managed to reboot and reimagine Spider-Man while still sticking true to what made Peter Parker, Spider-Man fun, exciting, and engaging. And in my opinion, this film series right here, this is the best Spider-Man period. The MCU is the best Spider-Man period. They've surpassed the comic books, the cartoons, the video games, and the original Sam Raimi trilogy. When it comes, I like how everything was modernized. Going into this film, I had a couple of problems. One, Flash Thompson, who gets a lot of bashing because he's not like the Flash Thompson from the comic books. When I saw Flash Thompson, and when I saw the actor for Flash, I'm like, that's a Flash Thompson. Like, this guy doesn't look intimidating. Imposing at all. He looks like the type who would quote unquote get bullied. Now it's until I saw his Flash Thompson. He's a different type of bully. Instead of the big, strong, aggressive, psychotic jock. Oh, this is a smug rich guy party dude, which is a more realistic. That's a more realistic modernized bully than the stereotypical jock. The jock usually ends up failing classes and needing help from that same quote unquote nerd person he probably bullied. Or later in life ends up working for him. That's if that jock has a happy ending later in life. So that's how that quote unquote goes right there, man. I hated the Tom Holland Spider-Man was a good Peter Parker Spider-Man. Spider-Man, and Tom Holland. Tom Holland right there. His Peter Parker, he captured both. He's the best Peter Parker Spider-Man ever. Tobey Maguire was a better Spider-Man because of the time period and era of Peter Parker he portrayed. He portrayed Peter Parker in college and workforce, which is my favorite era of Spider-Man. Peter Parker of Spider-Man. But when it comes to Peter Parker Spider-Man in general, the action, the drama, the comedy, the humor, Tom Holland is unmatched. Tom Holland is unmatched. And yeah, so yeah, the film was awesome, and I love Vulture. They managed to make a film about a guy, dressed as a bird, a vulture. A movie I didn't see any movie centered around him being good, but this one managed to make not only entertaining and relatable, but one of MCU's best villains is, my opinion, the Vulture. He was the most realistic and relatable of all MCU Marvel villains. Then we got another favorite villain, one other favorite villain of mine shows up in this movie. We get Shocker, and guess what? We get two. We get a Caucasian Shocker who I think gets killed early, and an Afro-American Shocker. One of my favorite villains, and we got two of them in this film. There's also, which I didn't notice at the time when I set this up, there's a setup for the villain Prowler. Prowler, who's a setup to Afro-American Spider-Man, Miles Morales. So yeah. Then we got Spider-Man. We got Spider-Man Far From Home. Spider-Man Far From Home. Bigger. This film was bigger, badder, and better than the first one. It had a way cooler villain in Jake Gyllenhaal's Quentin Beck Mysterio. In my opinion, one of the best, probably the best and greatest MCU bad guy of all time. I love how the trailers made it seem like he was a hero. At first. So when I was watching the trailers, I was wondering, when I finally got to see the film, what was going to turn him into evil. Then I love how they did it. He was using his special effects equipment. Just like Mysterio from the comic books. For his own personal gain, to create elemental monsters of the Sandman and various other characters. Then, apart from his connections to Tony Stark in this film, this Mysterio was spot on with Quentin Beck from the comic books. Quentin Beck from the comic books was fired from his day job and then decided to use his special effects equipment for quote unquote villainy. Only issue I had with this film was the Avengers plot hole. Just because it's a Peter Parker Spider-Man movie, they just said the other Avengers wasn't available without giving any reasons. Okay, we know why Thor and Captain Marvel couldn't come here. They were off-world. Thor and Captain Marvel couldn't come here because they were Thor, Captain Marvel, and the Guardians of the Galaxy. They couldn't come. They were off the world. But where was War Machine? Where was Falcon? Where was Bucky? Where was Doctor Strange? Doctor Strange and Wanda? Those are the two biggest examples of people you could call to deal with Quentin Beck Mysterio, and they really give no reason why they're not here, other than that it's a Spider-Man movie and Quentin Beck Mysterio is a Spider-Man villain. I keep forgetting the band that sings them, but the Vacation from Home theme song that plays when they leave for Europe. Oh yeah, the big Europe road trip, the field trip was awesome. Then I love how it segued with the Avengers, explaining the effects of everyone with the who were snapped out of existence. It's just so much. It's just one of the greatest films of all time. Then you have that big Mysterio reveal at the end, setting up the next film, No Way Home. So yeah, Spider-Man, the MCU Spider-Man, one of the best and one of the Marvel MCU's finest. This film, Far From Home, in my opinion, was better than the bigger box office event that year, Endgame, which was the culmination of 11 years. That film was technically bigger because of what it was, but this film, in my opinion, was bigger, badder, and better in every way. So with that being said, get ready for Get ready. The links will be in the description box below. The two videos, the narration and webcam version. So get ready. Yeah.